From the Keith Vincent Kayla Studios in Patterson, New Jersey, Green Hour Media proudly presents Is This Real? Tonight, the Walmart conspiracy. What is going on with the closed Walmarts? And now your host, JC3.
Who wants better sex? And who wants better sex starting now? The best way to get started is go to adamandeve.com.
Adam and Eve is offering 50% off just any item.
But that's not all. When you select your one item, you will also get 3 bonus items. That includes a gift for him, a special gift for her, and a gift you'll both like.
Plus 6 free movies for your viewing pleasure and free shipping.
There is discreet shipping as your privacy is priority. Plus 100% free shipping on your entire order.
Doesn't matter how much you spend or what you buy, it will all be packaged and sent discreetly for free.
Don't wait. Better sex is just one click away.
That's 50% off one item, 3 free gifts, 6 free movies, and free shipping.
Bring more pleasure and satisfaction to your bedroom.
Just go to adamandeve.com and select any one item. It could be an adventurous new toy or anything you desire.
Just enter code QUESTION at checkout.
That's question, QUESTION at adamandeve.com.
This exclusive offer is specific to this podcast only. So be sure at checkout you punch in the code QUESTION. That is QUESTION at checkout. And get your 50% off one item, 10 free gifts, and free shipping. Remember, use code QUESTION. Also remember to listen to Is This Real every Sunday at 8 o'clock with new episodes starting July 16th. Remember, everybody, question everything and put that question at the end of your checkout.
adamandeve.com.
Welcome everybody to another fantastic episode of Is This Real?
Is this real?
Tonight's episode, as Big Joe said at the beginning, we're talking about a Walmart conspiracy theories. So, in the booth tonight, we have Big Joe. Say hello.
Hello, Big Joe.
We have Cito in the back. Say hello, Cito.
Hola!
We have the Pope himself.
I'm the Pope. Ciao.
We have Roadblock shrinking every week.
Hey, yo, what's going on, everybody?
And I'm JC3, as he said at the beginning.
Yeah, he's going to go from roadblock to just kind of speed hump.
Yeah, it's like, it's not going to be a roadblock anymore. It's like, I can literally pick you up and put you down, little
What
man.
Uncle Keith used to call him?
Highway divider.
Highway divider. Another 6 months, roadblock's going to turn into just like small fence. I'm going to try.
Yeah. Applause to you. It's a hard thing to do, and you know what?
Absolutely.
Well, what are the things that the police throw under the cars so they break the tires?
Oh, dear God.
That's what you want to be? Anywho, so as we said,
roadblock to sinkhole.
well, we're talking about Walmart conspiracy theories. This is our 7th episode this season, I believe. I believe we're on episode 7.
Before we go into the
so.
episode, I got 2 announcements I want to make.
Okay, put your mouth on the mic. We can't hear you.
Okay. What I want to say is, number one, you guys out there, you've been listening to us for 3 years now. It's just coming up on 3 years.
Yeah, almost a full 10 seasons.
Okay. And, you saw us from 2-man booth to 3-man booth to now we're at a 6-man booth. And the last member who came in was Cito. And Cito has now graced us with joining us as a
Official partner
as
to Green Hour
official
Media.
partner of Green Hour Media. That's me.
Yeah.
He's a fan that worked his ass off, and
He was also Josh's cousin. So
That's right, people. Dreams come true.
That has nothing to do
It does.
That does have nothing to do with me. But I
what
do
is
wanna
that
say,
when you get a job because of family? That's what it's.
Nepotism?
he came, he saw, he conquered. That's all. So welcome to you, Cito. I'm glad you're a member.
Yes, and his
thank you.
TikTok.
I
What's
am
your
happy.
TikTok again? Cafe Talk. It's with Cito is still.
I changed it.
You changed? Oh, of course.
Yeah, it's just Cito. Like,
just Cito. Just Cito.
Cito.
Okay.
you'll see me in the lives. Check out Is This Real PC at TikTok.com.
Yeah, there you go. So tonight's episode.
Oh, wait, Dad had a second.
Second thing is to the. I know this will drop next week or 2 weeks from now, and I fully appreciate that. But as of right now, to all you on the West Coast, much love. I hope you guys sit tight and do the right thing. Listen to the authorities and don't try to be heroes. And you know what? If you do the right thing, we'll all get through this together. So again, I just want to say you're in our prayers.
Yes. All right, so tonight's episode is brought to you by adamandeve.com. Go to adamandeve.com, punch in the code question. You get 50% off one item and a whole bunch of gifts for that special someone. So let's get into this episode, guys. This is an episode that I've been circling for a while because this is a conspiracy theory amongst the conspiracy theorists. And I say that like it's a small group of conspiracy theorists that sit there and think about this particular conspiracy theory.
Okay.
I know that's a lot of words being thrown out there, and I get that. But it's something that not a lot of people think about or know about because it's one I believe Alex Jones talked about years ago.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And again, when Alex Jones screams, not a lot of people listen.
Yeah, when the more you go, the more time goes on, the
more like that motherfucker was right.
You see like his tip cup starting to overflow.
Yeah, like it's one of those things where like Alex Jones was right, and he's like, fucking course I was. But yes, so this is the conspiracy theory is Walmart conspiracy theory, but it is Jade Helm 15 specifically, and I don't know if they're one and the same. I don't believe they are, but Walmart's turning into FEMA camps around
That
the
is
nation.
the conspiracy.
It's one and the same,
They're
right?
connected.
They're connected. Okay.
It's more like two separate things, but end up coming back to one thing.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll read what it is about right here, and then we'll discuss it. Okay. The Jade Helm 15 conspiracy theories were based on the Jade Helm 15 United States military training exercise, which took place in multiple U.S. states between July 15th and September 15th, 2015. The exercise, which involved 1,200 personnel from four of the 5 branches of the U.S. military, was designed to train soldiers in skills needed to operate in overseas combat environments, including maneuvering through civilian populations. The announcements of these training exercises raised concerns and generated conspiracy theories that the exercise was a hostile military takeover. The joint exercise in realistic training, military training, RMT, known as Jade Helm 15, was sponsored by the United States Special Operations Command, SOCOM. Everybody knows what SOCOM is, and involved the United States Army Specialist Operations Command and Joint Special Operations Command with other U.S. military units in multiple states, including Texas, Arizona, Florida, Louisiana, Mississippi, New Mexico, and Utah. Its stated purpose was to improve the Special Operations Forces capability as part of the national security strategy. It was coordinated and led from the Eglin Air Force Base and Air Force Material Command Base in Northwest Florida. Approximately 1,200 troops were engaged over the course of the exercise. They were mainly Army Green Berets, but also a small group of Navy SEALs and Air Force Special Operations troops, as well as conventional Army infantry. Although the initial request to state officials from U.S. SOCOM listed elements of the United States Marine Corps Special Forces Operation Command, Marine Expeditionary Units, the 82nd Airborne Division, and interagency partners as participants. Troops engaging in the exercise assumed the roles of either occupying or resistance forces. Most locations were in sparsely populated and arid regions near small towns. Some participants were wore civilian attire, and drove civilian cars. Maps of the exercise included areas of the United States such as California and Colorado, where no actual operations were planned. The locations in Texas include Bastrop, Smithsville, Big Spring, Caddo Lake, Caldwell, Cristoval, College Station, Del City, El Dorado, Galad, Junction, Leakey, Menard, Mountain Home, San Angelo, San Antonio, and Victoria. So that was it.
So what is it exactly?
So basically,
it's like war games?
Kind of. Yes, no? You want to talk now?
I mean, first off, this what happened to this is you had military people in the streets, tanks were in the streets.
United States streets, small towns, people were, and I'll give you one of the conspiracy theories. The conspiracy theories seem to emanate from the map shown from the U.S. Army Special Operations Command. I don't know if you're going to put that up or not. Okay, 2 states leaning one way or the other, and California divided.
Jim Shea of the Hartford Courant wrote that the conspiracy theories included a psychological operation aimed at getting people used to seeing military forces on the streets so that they do not realize when an invasion actually takes place, an international operation aimed to seize people's guns. Recently closed Walmarts, and here's the tie-in, used by the military to stockpile supplies for Chinese troops who will be arriving to disarm Americans and a military plan to round up political dissidents and remove key political figures who may be against the imposition of martial law. Other theories have described Jade Helm 15 as a secret plot to impose martial law, confiscate firearms, invade Texas, and institute total population control. And I'm going to stop there. The reason why, I don't know if you guys know, well, you do. A couple of episodes back, we were talking. What the fuck are we talking about now? I can't think. Oh my God.
Wow.
I just had it in my head that, I do believe that this kind of stuff does happen. Now you're going through streets, you're doing all this kind of stuff, and these people are not prepared for it. Why are you?
Well, you're talking about the civilians.
I'm talking about the people that live in these towns. You got the desert where you can do this stuff in. There's no need.
Well, in a way, I could see it. It's like real life exercises. I mean, granted, I don't know, tell the civilians of the town that this is happening so people aren't freaking the fuck out.
Well, for military standards, they won't. Because what's the point of doing an exercise and having it pre-planned, or at least having the civilians there have knowledge of it?
Posse comitatus.
The whole, I don't know what
fuck
the
did you
fuck
just call
you
me?
just called me.
Posse comitatus. Look it up. You cannot have.
I can't even spell
What
that,
venereal
first of all.
disease do you have?
It's very simple. Posse comitatus is.
It's Latin, you fucking morons!
Okay, you can. It is against the law. It is against the Constitution to have
feel my chair for a
U.S. troops engaging American civilians on American soil.
Okay, no, I understand that, but where I was going with it is
speak it.
where I'm going with it is more of a strategy mindset, because you can't properly prepare for a situation if everyone is in the know-how. You can only prepare for a situation when people don't know what's going on, because that is what would happen in real life. Say tomorrow they wanted to do an experiment of how people in Patterson would respond to a military, I won't say invasion, but something of that aspect, where they just start marching the streets because apparently they're preparing for something.
I have the perfect answer for this. Hold on.
But if you don't tell them, you get that extra, I guess, experience. You
Surprise.
You get what would actually happen in that scenario when people don't know what's going on, and you're going to train for that specific scenario.
You and I are on the same wavelength, I think, right now, Joey. Go
I
ahead.
understand that, and that is completely and utterly great. I completely get that. For you want to have the total element of surprise, but it's Texas.
Okay, no, we're not on the same length.
They have open carry laws.
Yeah,
That's going to play into it.
Okay, so when Billy Ray comes out of his house like the military's on my street
Okay,
and loads up.
First of all, shut up and
Billy
pay
Ray in
attention.
Texas?
I'm sure there's at least one.
There has to be at least one.
Shut up and pay attention.
Very possible.
Then Billy Ray gets shot for coming out with a gun, and then they're like, "Oh, the military shot Billy Ray."
Yes, that's
Well,
the whole
it'd be-
What do you
thing.
mean? Yeah.
That was gonna be one of
That's
my
the whole
questions.
thing. When you go into a state that has open carry compared to any other state in the fucking U.S.,
Yeah.
you get that X factor, that unknown factor. That's what they could possibly be aiming for.
Here's my question.
Yes, what would happen with an exchange of fire in a military operation
With civilians?
with
Yeah.
yes.
All right,
You-
Cito, hold on.
you
He's
gotta
raising his
think
hand.
about that.
Cito, yes.
All right, so actually, this document I have.
He said, "Actually, motherfucker."
No, so it's
Cito has a
from the
document.
U.S. Army
Laying
Special.
facts on that fucking forehead.
So this is actually from the U.S. Army Special Operations Command, Jade 15 fact sheet. Now I know we're going over the theory. I'm just using this as of
Stating
now.
facts, yeah.
one of the questions is why or how and why was this country / state chosen? And each of them actually have a reason for it. Arizona, National Guard training centers and at the Army Reserve Center. Florida, Eglin Air Force Base. Louisiana, Camp Beauregard. Mississippi, Camp Shelby Naval Research Laboratory and other stations. And then New Mexico, Cannon Air Force Base. Texas, there's a bunch of bases in there, important places. And then Utah, Carbon, and Emery counties. So I'm guessing is that it could be a live test of like, yes, this is how civilians react,
Yes.
but also teaching the military themselves, okay, these are important places within our country. Now, there's obviously going to be more, but I think going in one direction, especially where it's like, if we're looking at invasion standards, if the United States were to get invaded, we're not getting invaded from the East Coast. There's way too much to actually get invaded from. It would be the West Coast, which is where all those countries are from.
Yeah.
California.
If I was
So
invading
that's
the
what they're
United
looking
States,
for.
I'd go in through like Oregon or like Washington State. There's nothing up there except lesbians and Subarus, so it's easy just to infiltrate.
It's so good to have not me put your hand on your head, Lim. This is great.
Okay.
All I'm saying is you could take the state of
She
Washington.
get beeped out.
You could take the state of Washington.
He didn't
with
call
like
them.
with like gluten bagels.
Okay, shut the fuck up, number one. Number two, hold on, Cito. Doesn't this type of thing just kind of remind you of the shit they were doing? God, what was I forgot the name of it. It was an operation that was run by with the Cubans.
Talking about the
They're-
Bay of Pigs.
No, they were training the Cubans to invade into invade
Operation
Cuba.
Mongoose?
Mongoose. Isn't it the same type of shit?
No, they were training to go into Cuba and raid Cuba.
No, I
Okay.
know that, but they were training on U.S. soil, weren't they?
It would be if the Cuban government was training their own people against something like this
To
happening.
me, this
to be
just
close to what this is. Now, to get your point, I understand that.
We'll
Okay.
get to you after. Dad
Oh, I'm
makes his
sorry.
point.
No, go ahead. Cito,
No, just to clear it up what Dad was saying. So it's like, what you're thinking, it would be like, say we're simulating like, I don't know, a city in one of like any rival country, whether it be China, Russia, or whatever. If we're preparing it, we'll create some kind of simulation style, which would be like, city that has similar structures or whatever it be. And basically what we're doing is, instead of invasion, it's protection. So any routes, for example, enemies are coming from like this route over here.
Yeah.
This is a structure way that we can go around them or counter that route.
All right, Anthony.
I don't know about like everything about this just screams like I don't know. This has got a lot.
English.
I know. I'm like I'm trying to
Asshole.
gather my thoughts here because I'm like, first of all, my initial gut feeling is like, wouldn't they just know this shit? Like, wouldn't they know? Like,
I mean,
like
you
if
have
we're
to
getting-
train, don't you think? Now, granted, I understand.
I'm conflicted because the part of me is like, if there's an invasion, number one, it wouldn't get. First of all, I don't think it would get that far. The United States is situated in such a way where we have ocean on all sides. We're not going to be invaded from Canada, and we're not going to be invaded from Mexico. I don't think that's going to happen.
I mean, technically, we are being invaded by Mexicans, but
But that's not a different story.
Don't go off the fucking rails with
And
that.
number
please.
two,
Okay.
number two, to me is like we have examples of other conspiracies where you didn't have to practice, you just did it, and you knew the exact outcome. To me, this is just bringing up like you didn't practice 9/11.
Well, no, that's
If
a
9/11 was perpetrated by the United States government, you didn't train and like let's crash a couple planes into buildings as a test run. You just did it. So my question would then become like, why do you have to train to defend a town using a Walmart, but you didn't have to train to know how to like bring a
there's-
couple buildings down New York City?
All right, Cito. All right,
Well,
we'll get to Cito, then we'll get to Josh.
okay. What's the difference between a town and two towers? Up until 9/11, the two towers were the same ever since they were built.
Sure.
And towns are constantly changing. New roads are added. Roads may be, changed. Different buildings are
I
placed.
get that.
Towns and cities are always constantly changing. New systems may be in place, like public transportation, that may affect it. Subways, just like New York, could drastically change an outcome of a city.
And I also
I get
think
that too, sure.
I'll get to you right after this point. Hold on. And I also think to a point that you can't really train with something as something in New York, because New York has what 8 million people in it. Like it's the size of fucking Sweden or Switzerland, whichever fucking country it is.
Yeah, that'd be total chaos.
It would be
would
total
backfire.
chaos. Number one, if you want to sit there and train, if this is quote unquote training,
Yeah.
and we don't believe the conspiracy theory, and we're just thinking about
Right now, I'm
it
just
as
going
flat-
based off of base
yeah.
facts.
Then with a small town in the middle of buttfuck Texas, you could sit there and control the little outcomes.
Yeah, I
of-
understand
of
that, but in order
the
to,
500 people that live there.
that's
you
fine.
know?
In order to develop the 1940s, we set up a bunch of different small towns in the United States that were working on the Manhattan Project.
Yeah.
The one in Nevada is the prominent one because that's where it was fully developed. What the fuck it's called?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know.
Right? The one where Oppenheimer was at.
Yeah.
You're going to sit there and tell me you can't build a small town in the middle of butt-fuck nowhere and run training exercise there just in case?
That town is stagnant.
Yeah, and you
Once
don't
you
have
build a town, you're not
civilians.
changing the town. There's no civilians. A
But-
live reaction, if there's an actual whatever it may be, an actual invasion to protect, obviously
You
civilians
want
would.
the people's reaction.
You
Yeah.
want the people's
Yes.
reaction. Because think about it like this: we're getting invaded. You're telling me that everyone's going to stay in their house all happy and just, we'll stay here with our guns in our hand just in case someone. No, some people will be fearful and run. There's going to be other reactions besides of just.
Well, then I guess the question that comes from that is there any evidence of that happening?
Right.
Were there people with cell phones? Were there people taking to the streets
Hold
and
on.
pointing guns at these people? What's going on?
That's what it gets to. That's the whole point.
We'll
of
do
doing,
Joshua, and then I know, Dad, you want to say something? I'm with Dad.
That's
we'll
the
go to
whole
break.
point of doing training simulations. One, times have changed from the fucking 50s to now. A training simulation is not going to be the same exact thing. It's not going to be the same exact outcome.
Understood.
Back in the 50s, people were like, oh shit, something's happening. We don't know. They go run, hide in their houses. It's 2023.
And back
Some
in the
shit-
50s, the people actually trusted their government a little more than they do now.
Yeah, that too.
That too.
It's 2023. People don't know how to fucking act. So they need that information. They need that variable situation in their training exercise. If it's somewhere like Texas, maybe Billy's going to pull out his fucking 6-shooter and start shooting at the military. Or maybe it's going to be some kid who's stupid enough to come outside and start recording with a fucking cell phone.
Right. Do we have any evidence of that?
They need all
I
that
have not seen it.
data. Yeah, they need all of that data to formulate
Or maybe
plans.
it's suppressed.
They need all of that information to form an actual strategy plan. You can't do like you did back in the 50s and you just say, okay, well, this is going to happen. We know people are going to stay in the house. 2023 is a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, okay. I have
Well, you
one-
mean this is 8 years ago now.
Right, but I have one thing to just say to that before you
Okay.
move on. We live in a world where we have fucking drones that can take out people from a mile in the sky, just flying over them and drop a bomb on them. You need to run a simulation where you close down a town and scare the civilians and do not know what the fuck's happening when you could just, if there was an invasion. That's what I'm saying. Like, the United States getting invaded is very unlikely to be, because by the time these motherfuckers get to the shores, you're gonna have drones flying over them dropping bombs.
No, hold on. You're forgetting one very crucial thing.
Go on.
An
We'll go right
invasion
back there.
can happen on U.S. soil
Without you knowing it.
over years of fucking planning.
Yeah, I
They
understand
can
that.
be here
Well,
as sleeper cells, sleeper cells
He
for
has a
fucking
point.
years.
Let's just put it like this. Hold on.
So
Let
you're
me,
saying that you're excited for Modern Warfare 3?
hold on. Shut up. I will get to you right there.
Apparently, it's starting.
Give
in
me
Texas.
1 second. I have the best way to explain
Okay.
this. Anthony,
Yes, sir.
fire drills in school.
Yes.
Would you ever walk in a straight line during a fire?
Well, that's the well. Listen, we practiced. When the fire drill sounded, you did exactly that every time, and you never knew if it was a real fire or not. So you just walked, unless you were in the room and like science room and like the chemistry set blew up and you knew the drinks
Yeah.
were on fire. That's a different story. But as far as growing up, every time that bell rang,
I will get
we
to you
always
after.
exited uniformly, and there was, I think, twice, not in St. G's, but like in Tech, where there was an actual emergency. It was like, get the fuck outside. We just walked outside. There was no
Fuck
panic.
that. I was pushing motherfuckers.
We were walking, but my point is there was no panic.
There was a panic.
Yeah, I
It's
hope
like
you know. If
someone
people
didn't
knew there was
come-
a fire, no one's gonna sit there.
Yeah, I'll be honest. If I heard that little woo and there was no like, this is a fire drill, nothing like that, I am pushing motherfuckers out of my way
There
to
was
get the fuck
twi-
out. I don't
Block,
care.
I don't know if you remember.
But-
There was at least twice where
Hold
they
on.
just did it without telling us.
Hold on. I want to say something, then we'll get to Dad, and then we're going to take a break. Getting to his point about sleeper cells, there is more and more shit coming out today, especially in California. I don't know if you guys saw this report about Chinese banks and Chinese businesses being run by Chinese spies that they're finding in California.
Yeah, and
Like that's the truth. That's the truth. Like it is a Chinese-based bank that was built in California that they're finding with Chinese spies that now they're like, get the fuck out.
I'd have to look into that shit.
And
But-
we
Yeah, we
have,
don't know who's the next Makarov. Like, let's be honest.
yeah, we have a huge nation. We're not 100% protected or covered. Shit can slip through the cracks, especially
Cracks.
the cracks. You got to emphasize that the cracks.
Scottish cracks.
It's like shit can slip through, even intelligence-wise.
No, intelligence-wise, I understand, but you're talking
Like,
a full-on invasion
AKA
and
Chinese
army?
balloon.
It can happen. Hello, did you not fucking play Modern Warfare the series?
Yes, I played Modern Warfare. That's a fucking video game.
Yes,
There's not a
but
goddamn
those are
thing.
actual situations that can fucking happen.
I don't think they could actually happen. Not in real world. Not in the real
Okay.
world. Just
Remember, no Russian.
I know.
yeah.
Just as much as we have, they're spying on us. We're also spying on them right back.
Agreed.
And if we saw boats 5 miles off to California, they would be gone. It would be like B-52. Good night.
Okay, but those are things that we actually have plans for. They're trying to plan for other things where it's literally surprise.
So we don't know, but we don't know.
Yes,
They
exactly.
don't know that we don't know that we don't know that they don't know. All right,
Yeah.
Dad, you want to say one thing, and once you say your thing, we're going
I'll
to take a
wait till
short
after
break.
the break.
Are you sure? You want to get it out?
I'll wait till after the break. 'Cause it's not one thing. It's kind of winded a little bit, but
All right, all right. So we're going to take a short little break. Please, guys, stay with us. We will be right back.
Hey everybody, we're just letting you know that we have new merch in our store. Go to greenhourmediastore.myspreadshop.com, greenhourmedia.org, or the link in the bio for our first ever logo drop. The cryptid collection is here. Get your favorite cryptids such as Bigfoot, Mothman, Nessie, the Yeti, or the Jersey Devil on t-shirts, hats, or mugs. You can also get all of our podcast logos on various items as well. Remember, that's greenhourmediastore.myspreadshop.com, greenhourmedia.org, or the link in the bio. New episodes of Is This Real drop Sundays at 8. Question everything.
Hello, this is JC3 speaking. If you want to know more about Is This Real podcast and our parent company Green Hour Media, then visit greenhourmedia.org. You can find and follow all of our social media pages through our website. If you love our content, then you can support us by subscribing to our YouTube channel and our Patreon page. Remember, that is greenhourmedia.org. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we were talking about Jade Helm conspiracy theory and just overall Walmart conspiracy theories because I think there's a bunch of them out there. Like,
How do they keep their prices so low?
shut the fuck up. Anthony, please talk about
Today's
our sponsor.
episode is brought to you by BetterHelp.com. BetterHelp.com is a website that links you up with a therapist or counselor when you need to speak to somebody about the issues that are going on in your life. Whether it's business issues or intimacy issues or family issues, BetterHelp.com is there to help you, and it links you up with a therapist or a counselor that is specified to your need. And when you go to BetterHelp.com/question, that's QUESTION, and you sign up using that link, you get some money back off of your first session. So use our website link. It's going to save you some money, and it's going to help you feel better, because everybody should be in therapy. Everyone should be talking to somebody at least maybe once or twice a week, and just to vent and get things off your chest to make you feel better and think better. BetterHelp.com/question. Save some money and get yourself some help.
That was the best fucking ad you've ever done in your life.
You're welcome.
Jesus Christ.
Clip that. We'll use it for every episode.
That's exactly what I was thinking in my head anyway. All right. So, Dad, do you want to say something before break? Please take the floor.
okay. What I'm going to say, what I want to say is, I've sat here, I listened to all you guys. I've listened to Josh, I listened to Cito, I listened to you, And I find myself in the unfortunate situation where I have to actually sit here and agree with Anthony. And I say that.
Hey,
The reason why
I'm over here checking the TikTok like, fuck you.
Okay, the reason why I'm going to say this is, okay, I get what you're saying. They have to learn, if you want to learn how to defend American streets and you want to learn all this stuff. Getting back to the fire drill you guys are talking about, I don't know about how you guys worked your fire drills, but we were always told today is going to be a fire drill. You don't know when, you don't know how, but this is what you're going to do. That didn't happen here. Okay, there was no announcement of this was going to happen. Troops land on a street, coming down the street with tanks, and you're going to sit there and try to tell me that they're going to worry about what reaction they're going to get? They're not. And I'll tell you why. We have a $1 trillion military system where we use mind warfare, and we just about know wherever you're going. You have everywhere on this planet, it is now under camera or
I can't
satellite.
get good fucking connection.
Okay. They don't care about the reaction of the people because, first of all, what they're doing with that was very dangerous. Because just like Joey said in the opener, people are going to, if I see military come down the street, especially in Texas, I'm taking out my firearm and somebody's getting capped because they want to defend America. That's the way that worked. That's very simple. Yeah. They're not going to worry about what the reaction of the people is because they already know. They know that people are going to be frightened. There's two reactions you're going to get. You're either going to go after them or you're going to hide. Okay, that's that. Now, as far as what the military is going to, you got to ask yourself, what is the military going to gain from this? Now, I understand. I see your point. You say there's going to be the reaction, and that's fine. But there really is no there is no thing. And if you remember back, we had an episode about the Boston bombing. And I said to you, I said to everybody here, I do believe somewhere along the line that the manhunt for Tsarnaev, if it was a conspiracy or if it was something that was done by the government or whatever you want to do, that had all the earmarks of shutting the town down, basically calling out martial law because we're looking for somebody. So they know then what they can do. They're not worried about people in our own streets. They don't care because I'm gonna be honest with you, there's no invasion coming in from anywhere. The next war is going to be through the air, is going to be through the cyber. We're going to get blown up. It's going to be World War III. They're not going to fuck around with little shit. And getting to Joey's point about the sleeper cells, yeah, there are a ton of them, but the sleeper cells in our country are two of them. You either have domestic terrorists that are doing stuff on our computers, or three of them, I'm sorry. You have from within our own government that is doing this. You have foreign nationals that are taking over, like you're saying, the banks, okay? And then you have terrorists, all right? None of these people are going to be going to the streets with tanks. None of them. They're going to be hitting you from, they're going to shut down the internet. You're going to
shut down your wallet.
Shut down your wallet. Okay. And if you really want to
blow shit up,
if you really want to piss people off, cut their food supply, cut their money supply off. They don't care if you shut the Walmart. They'll go an extra 15 miles to get a steak or whatever. You start messing with people's money and they're coming at you, but they're not going to come at you with tanks and stuff. So at that point, I don't see, in my opinion, and I respect your opinion, but I think I don't see where just shoving military in the middle of a street, is going to solve anything. It's going to shock people and it's going to make them frightened. And you might get people killed because of it.
Yeah, because that's one aspect of it. I didn't get a chance to finish that.
But I mean,
there is other avenues, like Dad was just saying. Like there's the internet, stuff like that. There's remote, drones and shit like that they can easily do. Right. They're just, I can see them preparing for all avenues, basically. Whether it be from in the country, above the country, through the internet. Like our network is not 100% totally secure. So I can see the internet being, I can see the internet being a weak point, a structure of where the attack would come from.
Absolutely.
It could start with that, and then it can lead to the sleeper cells, them activating, and then them doing what they're trained to do or what the plan was and stuff like that.
Not
And then
on the
it can
scale of
lead
invasion, though.
and then
Yeah.
it can lead to other things. It's literally a cascade. You start with A, it'll go all the way to Z if someone is that smart, that patient, and that diabolical.
You're right, and I agree to a point. The only reason I say I agree to a point
as well.
because I don't think, again, to the scale of a total military invasion, to the point of what the military is conducting in these small towns with this Jade Helm. Like we've seen over the past, I would say about 23 years now, in which we haven't had some in a hot minute. And knock on wood, hopefully it doesn't happen anymore. But it hasn't been like when you're talking about terrorists, it hasn't been where it's like, they have sleeper cells, and it's been bombings. It's been, we're gonna blow this up. And granted, if you want to sit there and believe the conspiracy theories about each individual bombing or not, if you take them by the actual face value story, the government story of, these were bombings by terrorists, that's something that you can't plan for, but at the same time you can, at this but they're planning for invasions of small towns in Texas. That's where the disconnect for me is. If you want to talk about more of like saving civilians and getting the military prepared, get them prepared for stuff like that has been happening. The bombings, stuff like that. You want the civilians to be prepared. Now, granted, it also goes into the point of, even if they just sit there and say, these are exercises we're doing. And what the theory is also, if you continue to read the theory, what you said before, it is getting prepared for military state martial law, right, which that would come from our own government, not outside sources.
That makes sense to me. If you get to the point where, and this is something that's just happened, we've reached the point this year where we've reached temperatures being measured on the wet bulb scale. I don't think I said that right, but they say it's the wet bulb temperature. Do you know what that is?
I have no idea what the fuck that is.
Wet bulb temperature is basically you take a thermometer and you put a wet bulb, you wrap it in a wet towel, and then you take the temperature. At 92 degrees, why it's wrapped in it is to simulate the human body, to add humidity, because we can't operate as people, as biological beings, we can't operate at like 116 degrees when it's outside. When it reaches that hot, when it's that hot outside, you can't last more than 6 hours before dropping dead, regardless of how hydrated you are dead if you work outside at that heat. So when they say the wet bulb temperature is 92, 95 degrees, that's the equivalent of it being about 116 degrees Fahrenheit. Right?
Yeah, what's basically happening in Arizona right now.
Right. Arizona happened in Georgia, Tennessee, and Alabama this year. Wherein people will laugh at, it's only 92 degrees. That's nothing. Well, it's wet bulb temperature. It's measured differently. If it gets to the point...
Tell the people that.
Hold on a second. If it gets to the point where, say 5 summers from now, it is too hot to go outside, like literally too hot to go outside, you are mandatory. You have to stay inside. And they start shutting things down, and it is a mandatory martial law. No one can work outside because it's too hot. Then I could see shit like this, where the military is taking over big facilities like Walmart's. Because at that point, if you're not going to stay inside, we need a place to lock you up temporarily.
I think you're sitting here and reaching a little bit.
It's a little bit of a reach. I'm not going to say it isn't.
To me, I don't think they're preparing for hot temperatures and keeping the people inside.
They're preparing for any reason to put motherfuckers in a place that's not a prison, but is a prison.
I would understand that, but at the same time, you don't. Hold on.
You just had an Alex Jones moment.
How erect are you?
Wait, hold on. Wait. Just think about it, though.
Whoa.
But think about it, though.
There's hope.
If they're going to sit there and do that, as what Dad said before in the first segment, you can't use military people against its own civilians.
Unless martial law is declared.
I don't want to do that because he told me I swore at him.
Unless martial law is declared.
No, I understand that.
You said I
but
swore at you.
what I'm saying is that when you sit there and say it for that particular reason, or like, it's too hot, people don't want to go back inside. If you want to use it for that reason, I don't think it'll ever get to that point. I think because one, you would put it first. It would be a state emergency before it becomes martial law.
Mm-hmm.
And I think once it becomes a state emergency, people actually listen to state emergencies.
Yeah, but we've already been. Hold on a second, Joey. We've already been through this 3 years ago with the pandemic. Consider the COVID a test run.
People sat there and they didn't, but they didn't sit there and
What are you staring at me for?
COVID test run. He's Alex Jones 2.0 right now.
Wait a minute. Where is Alex Jones tonight? This son of a bitch right here with the shaved beard and the bald head. He's starting to look like Alex Jones.
I'm not bald.
No.
I'm not fucking bald.
Oh my God. We brought Alex
Well, I
in
mean,
here.
he's not yelling the frogs are gay, so we haven't got to that point yet.
But my point is, it's not going to come with people with the military being dispatched going, these citizens are an enemy of the state. They're going to be dispatched and goes, we are here to help you. We're here to make sure that you're okay because you're breaking the law and you're putting yourself and others in danger.
If you're going to sit there and really tell me that they're trying to sit there and prepare for that type of situation, don't you think, again, it was during the COVID era. It was during COVID time. They were rioting in the streets, whether you believed in what they were rioting for or not. There was riots in the streets and people weren't listening to the stay 6 feet, 7 feet apart thing.
Yeah.
That would have been the time to sit there and say, get your asses out there and use it against these people.
Look at when those riots were. That was over the summer after we already. All right, let's lose back. You know, some of the stuff that already happened. Let's see people out. We can social distance on the outside a little bit. You know, I'm talking when it shit first went down, like March, April, May.
There's a difference.
When you were inside, you had to be inside.
You're
other
right.
Than being
There's
an essential worker.
There's a kind of a difference between saying, "Oh, we're all outside and it's okay," stuff like that. We don't know much about COVID, which is why when you sit there and say we don't know much about COVID. And you tell there's a 7-foot distance here. And again, I don't want to sit here and get into COVID because
yeah. Keep
but
going.
You're talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of people in groups and hordes.
I understand that.
Not 7 feet apart, regardless if they're outside or not.
Difference between that.
And none of them got COVID.
No, you can't say that.
Anywho,
you can't say that with any fucking.
I think we're going a little.
Yeah, we are. Okay.
My point is, my overall point is, it'll reach a time where you'll have the option to send the military in because it's martial law, but it's not going to be martial law because the state is out of control. They'll disguise it in such a way where we're here to help you. And I don't agree with many things that Reagan did or said, but the one thing I will agree with him on is the words you should automatically fear when you hear the government say it. No, I'm here from the government. I'm here to help you. Run.
Yeah. All right, hold on. I know Josh had something to ask before, we got into the. No,
I had a brief fart.
It's okay.
As far as what we're talking about, like, are we gearing towards the fact that Walmart as a corporation is what's the term I'm looking
Is Walmart
for?
in on it?
Is Walmart in
very simply put, yes,
with the government and actually intentionally building Walmarts to only have them abandoned? The only reason I'm asking this, and I just want to put a little backstory to it, I actually saw the one documentary. I don't know if it's still around, but I think it was on TV or some point. At one point, there was a documentary about Walmart where it had an abandoned facility. It had Walmart. You saw the brand name and everything, but it was just a ghost town. And there was only barrels of like chemicals or something like that in the back of the building. And unfortunately, there was no strict, I guess, what do you call that? Like barriers and stuff like that to prevent the chemicals from leaking. And it ended up leaking into the soil and into the river that was not too far from where that Walmart was built. Could that play into the fact that maybe they were going to do some type of military operation there and then just never did it? Because there was an actual document. Like I said, the documentary showed the whole facility. I forgot where it was at.
I mean, the only one that comes up is Walmart, The High Cost of Low Price, and it was from 2005 by Robert Greenwald and Brave New Films.
I remember that it was talking about something. I think a woman was in it, and then the film actually ended with places that fought the construction of Walmart. And surprisingly enough, Patterson, New Jersey was actually on that list of states or cities and stuff like that fault the constructions of Walmarts being built.
Well, I have two things, and we'll get to you, Sito, real quick. One, I know, and I think we're gonna stream right into this for the second part. I know there's a conspiracy theory that there's underground tunnels in Walmart that are trying to lure people, secret agents or some shit into Walmarts and keep them as a base. And two, I think these Walmarts are shut down by Spirit Halloweens. Those motherfuckers are like herpes. They're everywhere. But
You're a dumbass.
Sito, go on real quick, and then we'll get to the underground conspiracy theory with Walmart.
It's going back to what Anthony was saying about how martial law would not be martial law, but also martial law earlier.
Yeah.
And you could say like COVID was a test drive, but one thing you do have to consider about martial law is who is providing that martial law.
True.
The Army. In the documents, it was the Army, Special Operations, and some Navy SEALs and Marines. When it comes to tragic events like that, whether it be hurricanes, floodings, who's doing it? It's not the Army.
Yeah, it's FEMA.
It's FEMA and National Guard.
See, that's the one thing that fucked me up when I read that. Now, we all know Navy SEALs are out there. Love them. They do the work I feel nobody else wants to do, but they're kind of out there. And for them to be on this and to sit there, like, aren't Navy SEALs one of the first people they send in before anybody else?
They're the people you send in when you want motherfuckers dead.
Yeah.
Dude, it actually depends. Different operations, Navy SEALs are used in different ways.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it to me, like, for something like that, like, you're planning, this is a first send type thing, you know?
I understand where you're coming from, but also, like I said, it depends on situations because there's many operations and missions for the Navy SEALs in the past that have all been varied. Like, they can be sent to go kill someone, or they're recon, or they're just support backup because they're the closest people there.
Well, let's just put it like this, and we'll get to you, Dad. If I see Navy SEALs walking down my street, I'm gonna shit myself.
They'll see you long before you see them.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I will shit myself because I know big target. Like, that's what they'll fucking have. Like, purple shirt.
A sniper, like, I ain't gonna miss him.
All right,
I ain't missing this one.
I don't even need the scope.
all right, Dad. Do you want to talk about the underground tunnels?
Oh, wait a minute. I just want to answer something Josh said before.
All right.
The United States government has had a connection with Walmart for a very long time. Back in 2010, Janet Napolitano, the then Secretary of Homeland Security, started a campaign. If you see something, say something. Campaign Walmart stores across the nation. Okay, so why are we bothering to deal with just Walmart? Why is Walmart so special? And to me,
Are you gonna tell us why?
the reason why is because of the real estate that they own and where it's positioned. Okay. Now they're closing the Walmarts in Texas and Oklahoma, and I think it was New Mexico. And
There's a couple states that they were doing that. Arizona's one of them.
and it's all the same excuse. They all had plumbing issues, but yet they're going to close for 6 months for plumbing issues. Are you serious? You can literally get a plumber here and take 2 houses down and put a whole new plumbing system in a week. No one ever filed for permits. They just released hold on. Well, here you go. Walmart issues well, this is something different. They're saying that they don't have they're all going to now get permits in the future. Well, you close the stores down. You put barbed wire on the top of these stores. Okay, you have a military presence around all of these.
They put fences with barbed wire around
stores. Why? What is going on? Just be honest. And now, I don't know. Again, you can piggyback off the Jade Helm. That's fine. But the people that are worried that eventually Jade Helm is getting people ready for martial law, and dissidents are going to be put in these WalMarts.
All right.
So
All right, Cito and then Anthony.
Just one thing to bring up. I'm not sure if this is late or not, but a document, and this is on the official government of Texas website.
Texas.
That the governor at the time, Abbott,
yeah.
actually asked, what was it? Major General Gerald Jake Betty, commander of the Texas State Guard. Basically, he told him to completely monitor, and he wants daily updates.
So that he makes sure that Jade Helm does not impinge on Texas's freedom.
Yeah.
See, I'm looking at I'm looking on the website Reuters, and again, Reuters, routers, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I hate this fucking site because I don't think they fact check for shit. But
See the George Soros episode.
yeah, because you just see like politicians eager not to alienate right-wing voters, a Republican, Greg Abbott, like they want to sit there and put all that stuff. You're a fact checker. You don't need to sit there and alienate words like that.
That's why I try to go to government and look at the official documents before anything else.
Totally agree
Yeah.
with you, though.
All right, Anthony.
Well, I was going to say that, if the government is overtaking these Walmarts for the sake of turning them into internment camps, we already have.
Well, I don't think it was internment camps.
Well,
though.
here, hold on a second. This is where I'm going with this.
It
It
could
was?
be used.
It could be used. Here's where I'm going with this. Right? We've already experimented. We've already dabbled in that idea.
Yeah, in the 40s.
In the 1940s with Japan. We also did that in the 1980s. It's something called Rex 84. The readiness exercise of 1984 was a classified scenario and drill developed by the United States federal government to detain large numbers of United States citizens deemed to be national threats in the event that the president declared a national emergency.
Right.
So if we don't want to buy all the material with fences and have to build it ourselves, let's just talk to Walmart, find out which stores aren't doing so well, and commandeer them. It makes it easier for us.
I'm gonna one of you two. One of you two sit here and do this research. It might be quick. It might not be quick, but find me if there's any connection between the people who own Walmart and U.S. government. If there's any connections in
Just
there.
gave you, Tony.
No, I'm saying like married or something like that.
Personal connection.
Personal connections.
That, I mean,
I don't
Because
think that
I'll be
matters.
honest, I mean, the people in Walmart are obviously billionaires on top of billionaires.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to have some influence on U.S. policy because every type of fucking 1% billionaire it does. But I know that I do want to talk about the underground tunnels
right.
that Reuters says is a complete falsity.
Well, even on the Wikipedia, it says that the existence of FEMA concentration camps have been debunked. Which I'm like, again, this is Wikipedia.
Well, they can say it's debunked because it's never really happened.
Right. It says
It was brought to the people locked.
that was from popularmechanics.com from December of 2014. The evidence debunking FEMA camp myths below are more details regarding some of the most prevalent claims and facts uncovered through PM's independent investigation. So, Popular Mechanics investigation into the FEMA camps and whether or not you choose to believe in it.
Well, one thing I hate, like this website says, what website is this? Gigafact.org. I've never heard this before. They turned around and said there's a series of amateur videos online of shuttered Walmart superstores online, but does this prove that they were turned into military bases and the thousands of miles of tunnels between them were excavated, made military ready, and maintained all without detection? And they go, such tunnels would disrupt electrical, sewer, and power lines and would cross thousands of private properties. That would be hard, if not impossible, to do.
And
I'm like,
if they dig fucking deep enough.
I'm like,
Thank you.
that's complete bullshit because we all know there's underground tunnels of fucking in fucking to the Denver airport. We've covered that bullshit already.
There's also from Washington D.C. and New York City. If you do your research, and anybody out, I'm not going to sit here.
No,
You have tunnels that go from New York City to California. Okay, it's there. It's not, and like Josh
that's
said,
a big fucking tunnel.
there's other ways around it, and you can go online and you can see actual videos of people driving in these things. Okay, they're there. It's not a bullshit story. It's not a conspiracy theory. These tunnels do exist. Now, do you want to link the Walmarts together with them? You know what? Maybe you can, maybe you can't. I don't know. But it's awful funny that the military always uses tunnels. Okay, and if they were preparing for something like this before we caught on and before it became possible. Maybe they just shut everything
Well,
down.
think about this too. If
I
you
don't mean to cut you off. There's a lot of misinformation. I'm just reading through this article by Popular Mechanics, and like shit. Like there was one website that posted a bunch of pictures, and it's like, yeah, it does look like a concentration camp, except it's not Wyoming. It was from North Korea. It's completely misinformation.
Well-
There's the other one. This struck me years ago as odd. Down in Georgia, there was hundreds of thousands of plastic coffins. That were
I
just
read about
placed
that,
in-
yeah.
Right. Well, it wasn't. It was a company that makes them.
yeah.
Because they use them in the production of coffins. It wasn't like they were getting them ready. Because that was one of the things, like when COVID hit, with all these people dying, it's like, well, that's what they're going to make use of that. All of a sudden, you're going to see coffins. No, everyone got cremated to
Well, no, I mean, no.
to
if you-
curtail the spread of the virus.
If you look at the one picture during COVID, they did put them in these pine boxes,
pine boxes, these are not pine. This
and
is
they
plastic.
and they put them into these big fucking dumps in like the middle of fucking Pennsylvania and burnt that motherfucker.
Right. It says
like,
the film law
like
is in
Wicker Man
right.
style.
So the
you
film
know?
law in Madison, Georgia is a vantage storage facility of the 900,000 or so in-ground burials each year. A small percentage of those people prearrange their own caskets and vaults,
Well-
which Vanguard holds at the storage facility until the appropriate
I
time.
have a quick question, and then we're gonna take a break. All right.
So it's a lot of misinformation out
and
there too.
maybe everyone can answer this real quick before we go to break.
Go on.
It would make sense if you want to prepare a town, not if you want to sit there and surprise a town for a quote unquote military style takeover.
Yeah.
You don't want that town knowing that you're having that. You just want to show up with your military weapons, your you know, all that stuff.
Similar to what they did to the Japanese in the 40s in San Francisco, California, San Francisco,
Yeah.
all that shit.
So
Yeah. Right this way.
wouldn't it be more suitable to show up with your tanks and stuff like that through underground tunnels, so they don't show you just oh look, the military's coming down Route 80. You know, that's like you just want to boom, we're here. Get fucking prepared or get butt fucked. You know, it's one of those things that I'm thinking like the tunnels would sit there if you want to link that. Now, again, I don't know if there's any pictures of these of military people coming out of tunnels or coming out of Walmarts. I don't think none of that has actually come around. But don't you think if you want to like really surprise a town with 500 people that the military is there, bring them through fucking tunnels so the people don't actually see them coming down Route 80.
Yeah, that's fine. You want the element of surprise, but like, look,
I'll go to you right after.
I've been to a bunch of Walmarts. I can't say I've ever been to any of these Walmarts, but like, it would have to be some like really weird Batcavian like Walmart where the floor just opens up and like you see tanks rolling out through like giant garage doors. Like it makes
No. I mean, if take a tech for instance, they have the one thing that goes under the ground where you have all those tunnels under the ground, underground tech. They can get cars in and out of that very easily.
Yeah, you're talking cars, not tanks. But also like, in order to exit, you would need a pretty big exit for a military to walk through. That's not going to eat up all this time because you want to be able to space them out and get everyone
No,
out
I mean,
there.
you
as soon
shut
as
it down.
possible.
Nobody knows what the fuck's going in.
And don't forget
in
too,
the back.
when this is happening, supposedly, you're not going to a Walmart that's open.
Yeah.
And you're digging a tunnel. These are closed
For
They're-
6-7 months.
Like shit's already going to be there.
Well, they're gonna be closed, and then the military will go in. When these Walmarts, some of these Walmarts were around and they were open and serving the public, they didn't have barbed wire fence on the top of it. Since they closed, they
They're
have
really-
barbed wire fence.
Wow, they're really uptight about security.
Well, maybe, but you know what? The thing is, you're not going to find any of these tunnels around the Walmart that's
open.
Yeah, they're going to be closed. They're going to go in there, and again, all you got to do is seriously ask the question: why are you closing the Walmarts down? If they say, "Well, it's bad performance," that's fine. Or they don't tell you that. They tell you we're closing for 6 months for drainage problems or plumbing problems. That simply does not happen.
Preparing for the BLM riots.
One
Like,
thing,
You
hold
really
on.
need barbed wire?
Cito, well, say yours, and then I want to ask a question about.
I was
that,
just gonna
too.
say the same thing as him. Like,
Oh.
what kind of Walmart's is just gonna just rise from the.
All right. My thing that I was thinking about though is when you sit there, like, does the closing of these Walmarts coincide with the timeline that Jade Helm was happening?
Yes.
Like they're
Yeah.
thinking
Yeah,
right. Like,
2010, 2009.
all right. I mean, and like if like they were closed for like 6 months and then like, hey, we're open again. and like then Jade Helm happens like 7 months later.
There's
you
one
know?
asshole like, I can use the bathroom now?
Yeah, like that would be like, okay, but if like these Walmarts are shut down, and as they're shut down in that 7 months of being shut down, Jade Helm is like happening as it's happening.
Well, they would shut them down. Then people were questioning why they're being revamped into so-called military detention centers, whatever you want to call them. Okay, and then Jade Helm happens, and then of course you got people that connect the dots. Go, wait a minute, you guys are doing this stuff on our soil, and now you're telling us you're going to close the place for 6 months, but you're putting barbed wire on the top. Doesn't make sense.
What I'm thinking, and this is something that
I see the steam.
like, if there's a natural disaster, you know where to put these people. Something like Katrina, right? Where you have hundreds of thousands of people displaced. Like, if there was something like this there was a couple of Walmarts shut down in New Orleans.
Do we have any?
Or Louisiana. And all of a sudden, a natural disaster comes in and destroys the lives of 100,000 people. They need to put them somewhere. But again, those are not, I mean, they use a Superdome and FEMA took over for that. But like, again, this is something that's like, these are supposed to be detention centers from what we think. Like, that's why you have barbed wire. That's why there's a military presence. It's not there for like humanitarian reasons. Like, it's loaded with beds.
I'll be honest.
kitchens.
I never thought of it as like, especially with this conspiracy theory. I never thought of it as a detention center. I thought of it more of they're going to use it as like military bases to prepare for martial law.
What's on a military base? It's a detention center.
But what I'm saying is like they're not going to sit there and like it's not like it's actual like 1940s.
It's Gitmo Light.
We're bringing Japanese in here, and they're going to sit here until the war's over type shit. Like we're not bringing in civilians just to sit there. Like I thought it was like we're getting our shit prepared here. This is our base of operations.
Then just make a base of operations.
Yeah,
you don't need to take over a Walmart.
Sito.
There's one issue with the base of operations idea, where this Operation Jade, right, is taking place. There's major military bases near them. Near the towns and cities. You don't need a major operation base.
You need a place to store people.
No, I'm gonna be honest. My thought process right now is the positively go optimistic side that this is more of a just in case another natural disaster happens. Like we need someone to go like a FEMA style. Because I know later, I'm not sure if we're going to talk about it later on, but FEMA connected to Walmarts and using this as well.
Yeah.
But FEMA style words, we need to have somewhere going. And if there's tunnels, it's probably connecting tunnels back to the original military base, which could lead into any hurricanes or whatever natural disasters, or on the very small off chance of, outside, because right now especially 2015, we're in this age of fear of nuclear war. The possible idea of using these Walmarts as a sort of bunker style of transportation of people could be a possibility. And this is, like I said, this is more on the optimistic side of trusting the government.
Yeah, that's very optimistic, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Then tell us. When people were giving you, they wait till these conspiracy theories come out, and then they want to say, no, that's not what's going on. But meanwhile, there's tanks, there's trucks, there's military trucks all over these places, putting all this stuff around it. Tell us. There's
only one reason why I could actually think of not to tell the people, oh yeah, this is like a nuclear bunker. And it's like, oh shit, that's a nuclear bunker.
Well, I would sit there and say,
like, what are you trying to do for that, man?
But at the same time, they had nuclear fallout shelters in the 1950s and 60s because of the Cold War.
Yeah, because of the Cold War.
Yeah.
You were told where to go.
But populations have now grown, and especially that now that we are in a larger population of United States, where the population between the 60s and the Cold War to now has drastically increased. If we say now, because before nuclear war was always a threat, it would scare people. But right now,
I feel like it was more of a threat back then than it is now.
Fuck that.
But right now, we have technologies where a nuclear warhead could reach the United States in 15 minutes. It's not the time where we have planes where it's going to take them 2 hours to get there. Remember, and we could call it.
Like we were on the brink of war in 62, 63 with Cuba. 62. Like that was the closest we've been.
That's what I'm saying.
I understand. But now in 2023, when everyone is armed to the tits and pissing off the wrong person is going to send one of those fucking things up. Like that's been a thing where it's like, we already know, like say Russia and the United States got some beef. Whoever strikes first Once that missile's in the air, the other nation's not hesitating. They're doing two things. They're going to try and shoot that missile down while also sending off one of the missiles of their own.
Yeah.
There have been simulations that said within 2 years, if a nuclear weapon were to be shot from one of these countries of power, within 2 years, humanity is down to a couple thousand people because the United States, all the major countries of this world will be wiped out first, and the only people left would be those south of the hemisphere, mostly in Central Africa and Australia, because they're going down, they're going, boom.
Let's just put it like this. I'm gonna say one thing, and then we're gonna take a break because this segment's a little long.
Let's get going here.
I am personally for everyone arming themselves with nuclear bombs because of that exact reason. If you know that motherfucker has it, it's the same reason why I'm all for people arming themselves and why the gun rate is lower in states that are armed instead of ones that aren't. Like,
you mean gun violence?
Yeah, gun violence is lower. Like, if you know someone has a gun,
you don't fuck with that.
You don't fuck with that person.
So you're saying you want everyone to have a nuclear weapon?
Think about it. Think about it. Like, especially with allies and stuff. If someone sends a nuclear weapon,
I don't think he means I don't think he means like you, like us.
He doesn't mean
I don't think
civilians.
it's like. I don't think it's like I'm driving with the fucking back of my car.
Do we
have a problem here? But no. All right, we're gonna take a short little break, guys. We'll be back to finish off this episode. All right, please stay with us. Hey everybody, I'm JC3.
And I'm Mr. West.
And this episode is brought to you by Dubby. Made by professionals in the USA, Dubby was formulated to give you focus and energy with no jitters or crash. Their formula contains vitamins, amino acids, including the patented Neurofactor. You know what Dubby doesn't give you?
What's that?
No calories, no sugars, no fillers, and no artificial flavors. When the raw ingredients arrive to their FDA-registered and inspected facility that strictly adheres to GMP guidelines, they undergo a quarantine while a small sample of each ingredient is taken to test for any impurities, while also being tested to ensure that the ingredients are actually what they are supposed to be and have the proper dosage.
And once the ingredients pass all the tests, then they're cleared to get mixed into the formula. So head on over to dubby.gg and use our offer code IsThisRealPC for 10% off your first order. That's DUBBY.GG and use the code IsThisRealPC for 10% off. They have great flavors such as Galaxy Grenade, Dub Sludge, Passion Joy Tea, Monkey Madness, and Dragonade. My personal favorites.
Dragonade's right here. I got Dragonade right here. Delicious.
Drink Dubby
and be better.
These products are not intended to diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease.
If you liked this video today, please click the like and subscribe button and make sure to hit the notification icon to keep up with all our videos.
Who wants better sex? And who wants better sex starting now? The best way to get started is go to adamandeve.com.
Adam and Eve is offering 50% off just any item.
But that's not all. When you select your one item, you will also get 3 bonus items. That includes a gift for him, a special gift for her, and a gift you'll both like.
Plus 6 free movies for your viewing pleasure and free shipping.
There is discreet shipping as your privacy is priority. Plus 100% free shipping on your entire order.
Doesn't matter how much you spend or what you buy, it will all be packaged and sent discreetly for free.
Don't wait. Better sex is just one click away.
That's 50% off one item, 3 free gifts, 6 free movies, and free shipping.
Bring more pleasure and satisfaction to your bedroom.
Just go to adamandeve.com and select any one item. It could be an adventurous new toy or anything you desire.
Just enter code QUESTION at checkout.
That's question, QUESTION at adamandeve.com.
This exclusive offer is specific to this podcast only. So be sure at checkout you punch in the code QUESTION. That is QUESTION at checkout and get your 50% off one item, 10 free gifts, and free shipping. Remember, use code QUESTION. Also remember to listen to Is This Real every Sunday at 8 o'clock with new episodes starting July 16th. Remember everybody, question everything and put that question at the end of your checkout.
adamandeve.com.
Welcome back to our final segment of this episode. I've enjoyed this episode. The bunch of back and forth that we've been talking about. Nobody's been yelling at each other.
It's been weird.
It's right.
These two are agreeing.
Like it's literally the polar opposite.
We got Alex Jones clone over here now. This is wonderful.
Like me and Josh are kind of on the same side at this point.
I don't know what side I'm on.
Fuck everyone. That's what Josh is talking about.
much.
True.
We do have. I'll try to get him on the phone, but West does want to call in. You know, Wes, what do you think? Fuck Walmart. Okay, Wes. But to sit there and get this episode ended and really talk about it, like the little details that we've talked about today, well, major details that we've talked about tonight. Yeah. What do you guys think about this? Like, I don't know if like because obviously this happened. This was a thing that did happen. Jade Helm was an experiment, not a military operation that did happen.
Exercise, yeah.
An exercise that did happen. Do you believe in the conspiracy theory behind it, even though really nothing came out of it?
Are these Walmarts now operational again, or are they still closed?
No, they closed them permanently.
Yeah, they're closed permanently.
Is there still a military presence at these Walmarts?
We'd have to do
I believe there's still barbed wire fence around them.
Yeah, I think what happened was after the pressure from the media, because there are media outlets that were questioning this. You know, I think once they figured, you know, this was going on, let's put a hold to this, and we'll try something else in the future. I do believe, because a lot of them stopped now. Whether the buildings are there or not, again, you'd have to do your research. I didn't do that. I don't know. Now,
well, we'll start with you. Then, do you think the Jade Helm conspiracy theory is true or not?
I believe, in my heart of hearts, I believe that Jade Helm was trying to prepare. Nothing to prepare the military. They don't need this. I believe they were trying to prepare the citizens for tanks on their streets, military on their streets, get used to this. As far as the Walmarts are concerned, you want to do that first? Or?
No, continue talking.
As far as the Walmarts are concerned, yeah, I believe that they got caught. And somewhere along the line, they figured, you know what, we're going to close this stuff down. Walmart, I would imagine Walmart got a pretty penny for all this stuff. Probably. They're not doing it for free. So I don't believe it was it's a conspiracy theory. I actually believe that this was done for a reason, but there was too much light on it and it shut it right down.
All right. From the airport, Mr. West is here. Say hello, Mr. West, to everybody.
Mr. West, what up?
You.
We miss you, buddy.
Everybody.
Right, you're on microphone right now.
I'm on the mic. Yo, letting everybody in the world know Portland's pretty cool. The airport's chill. People drive slow as shit.
Which Portland?
Oregon.
He's in Oregon.
Holy shit, he's 3,000 miles away.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah,
West. On the episode tonight, we're talking about the Walmart conspiracy theory, Jade Helm, military operations around Walmarts. Do you believe that the military operated around these closed Walmarts and basically were, what was it? The military-style operations in small towns in Texas?
That sounds believable.
It does, right? Like
It sounds believable.
people are really trying. They think they were getting prepared for martial law. That's what they were thinking.
Yeah, I remember seeing like videos back then of just like a whole bunch of like tanks being transported on the railways, like a whole bunch of trucks driving all throughout Texas and stuff. Same thing be happening here in Jersey, but they're supposedly drills. But what are you drilling for? You know what I'm saying? That sounds very suspicious.
Yep. And we're towards the end of this episode. It's been a really fun episode. Dad and Anthony are kind of been on the same side, where me and Josh are on the same side. That's different, right?
It's very different.
Yeah. Anthony was talking about how like COVID was like a
test run.
A test run. Like you've never heard those words out of Anthony, right?
What? He said that?
He said COVID was a test run.
What? Yo, bro. My man's is joining my man's is going to the dark side.
All right, homie. Get home safe. We just wanted to call you and get your opinion on that. Thank you again, Mr. West. We'll catch you next week. You'll be back for next week's episode, right?
Right. Yo, they guilty. I'll tell you that right now. All of them are guilty.
All right, Wes. Get home safe. Love you, brother.
Get home safe, buddy. Safe.
All right, bye-bye. All right, so that was West's take on it.
Reporting live from Oregon.
They're all guilty.
Still
right.
somehow manages to get in every single episode, no matter what.
The man is relentless. You gotta love it. He's in the airport wearing his Is This Real sweater in Portland, Oregon. Gotta love it. Gotta love the man. All right, well, Cito, your take on tonight's episode.
So, my take. There could be many different options. Like, is it martial law? I'm gonna be honest. It could be, but let's be honest. This is also America. It was Texas. Do you really think Texas is gonna listen to martial law?
Oh God, no.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure
That's why
Texas
none of
doesn't
this
need a
makes
military.
sense. Yeah.
Pretty sure Texas doesn't need a military. Just send the civilians out
We
there.
got
They'll be
our
fine.
own militia. We don't need that motherfucker.
There's the more optimistic route, like I said, that this could be possibly just in case of something dramatic happening, whether it be natural disasters or outside forces, that it's FEMA or FEMA combined with the military working together to prepare for the worst of the worst. And the only reason why they're not telling you is because, one, if it's like nuclear disasters, I'm pretty sure everyone will be like always on the edge of their seat, and that's what we don't need the American civilization right now, especially where everyone's a little too reactive.
Trigger happy.
Yeah, trigger happy, reactive towards anything that could really potentially destroy their lives.
Yeah, and I also think at a time where, again, if they were sitting there pulling this back in the 50s and 60s, where everyone trusted their government. You know, I would say more the 50s because I think the 60s is when started the turn of we don't trust the government anymore.
Mid-60s.
That's
So
when
Kennedy gets killed. Vietnam
yeah,
realized
that
we shouldn't be there.
That whole thing is when the anti-government movement started happening. But like, if this was happening during the 50s and stuff like that, which I guaranteed it did in some point, like we would have to do our little research of something like this. People would be all for it. Like, yes, protect us, military come in, protect us. But I guarantee they would tell the civilians too.
No.
You know, I don't think it's more of a pop like, gotcha, motherfuckers. Like, it's not, I don't think it's one of those things. But at the same time, again, this day and age where everyone, whether you're Democrat or Republican or anywhere in between, nobody really trusts the government. Let's just put it like this.
How can you?
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. And that's why I'm saying pulling something like that with military on civilians, even though it's a drill, to me, it's a little fucked up. And I know that's my opinion. We'll go to Tony.
Something happened. Something went down. We don't know why. And that's the typical government 101 type shit. Government does things all the time.
Came and took my baby.
Government does things all the time that we don't question because we don't see it. This is something that was kind of out and open. You know what I mean? Like, you were shutting down Walmarts. People shop at Walmarts every day, especially in these states, Texas, Arizona, Utah, whatever. You know, Walmart has always been the cheaper alternative for not, decent quality shit. So when you start taking away places where people are shopping, that affects their wallet, that affects their food, that affects their way of life. And then you're beginning to notice, hey, there's barbed wire fencing around that Walmart. It wasn't there yesterday. What's that Humvee? What are those Humvees doing in the parking lot? And you get the excuse, they're there to fix the plumbing. Well, I don't see any fucking plumbing trucks. You know what I mean? Like, there's obviously something happening. We don't know what it is because that's how the government operates. And if it's something this blatant and open, I don't know, maybe it was something like that. So where they're like, yeah, well, you can't, let's stop this. Whatever the government decided to do, they said, let's knock it off. People are asking questions. This is supposed to be semi-covert. And we're just gonna leave it at that.
I do have a quick question after Josh says his because I think it kind of plays into it a little bit. But
I'll leave it off by saying there's something afoul in the fuselage, Frederick, and we don't know what the fuck it is.
Thank you, Joshua.
Okay, first of all, what the fuck? Seriously, they're going to use the excuse of plumbing? We've seen enough WWE events to know what the fuck plumbing trucks and shit look like.
What?
My boy brought in the McMahons.
Yes.
I guess in a way, but I know more milk trucks and beer trucks than plumbing trucks. With WWE.
It's the same shit. Tit for tat. Whatever.
First of all, what fucking beer company are you calling in to fix your toilets? All right, shut the fuck up.
It's a whole bad.
Maybe Anheuser-Busch. They need some money right now.
Shut up. We're not talking about that. All right.
I just had to get that. I'm sorry. I was being goofy. I can't really comment on the conspiracy theory, only for the fact that those Walmarts are still there.
They're
So
not
we're-
active though.
It doesn't matter if they're active. Those Walmarts are still there. They're still empty. They still have barbed wire. What purpose is it to leave it still standing? And the only place my brain goes is that's the backup plan. If they decide to do whatever it is they're doing, whether it be training.
You're adding to the fucking conspiracy theory then.
No, it goes by what I said before about like it's going to get too hot in a couple of years. No one can work outside.
Well, that's
Put them in the Walmart with air conditioning.
It's a backup plan regardless, whether it's for military operations, whether it's for planning against some type of invasion, or if it's towards the humanitarian route where they need more space. Like we had mentioned earlier about the population, it has increased since way back when. I mean, look what happened with it was Katrina, right? Where everyone went to the dome or whatever it was. What if another disaster happens? You can't fit people that don't have a home inside of a dome now. This is years later. There could be, if it goes that humanitarian route, they would need some other locations that are abandoned and ready to be used in some form if that does happen.
You know, you're absolutely. I'm thinking about this now.
I think
Think
you
about
need
how many
that plan.
Bradleys in this state of New Jersey have gone out of business 10 years ago.
Yeah.
More than
Those-
that, Dad. You're dating yourself.
Okay, whatever. But
Well, I
those
mean,
buildings, I can think of at
dinosaurs
least
lived.
4 that are still standing there,
Yeah.
empty. I'm going to do a little research on who owns these buildings.
Yeah.
If the government owns these buildings, there you go. If Walmart's not going to sit there
Well-
and pay taxes on them. Somebody owns them other than Walmart, and especially in today's market,
well.
with
Look
the
at
value
yeah.
of real estate.
Let's just put it like this.
Why
Look
are
at,
these buildings, the Amboy Theater on the Parkway?
let's look at natural
Why
disasters.
is it sitting
Hold
there
on.
empty?
Let's look at natural disasters over the last 10 years.
Right.
This year alone, let's look at natural fucking disasters. We've had what, I think 24, 25 quote unquote natural disasters.
House fire. Yeah. Wildfires and
Yeah,
Hurricane Hillary now. And
You know, Hurricane Hillary. Let's look. Hurricane
It's a good
Hillary.
point, Josh.
Hurricane
Good
Hillary is
point.
happening right now in Arizona and California, right? It's hitting both states.
yeah.
How many people? These operations happened in Arizona also.
Yeah.
How many people are being held in those Walmarts? We have to do our research on that.
Here's a slight pivot.
That's if they're still using it. If
What
that's the backup plan
Right.
for the humanitarian avenue.
Right. Let me piggyback on that real quick. What happens if like we reach a point at the crisis at the border? There's too many immigrants. Got to keep them somewhere. And look at that.
I was thinking about that
Texas
too before.
is right fucking there. Like
Like,
all those places in Texas.
I want to know how close to these are to the border. You know, I
they
know
now
it's,
become the-
because look
they-
at how all the state. I mean, Georgia. I think there was a couple in Georgia. I guess you could quote unquote put Georgia in there.
And how American would that be to turn a Walmart and call it Ellis Island, Texas?
Yeah, to a point. Yeah, but I you know, we've
How
heard
fucking
most
sad
of
that is.
most of the setback and most of the complaints come from Texas, right? Which would be a Republican red state.
Sure.
Did we hear? I didn't hear any complaints from any blue states because is Arizona a blue state? Arizona's a blue state, right?
Arizona's a blue state the last time around. The problem with that is you are hearing it. Look at the
Like if they were to try this in a small town in say Washington, Oregon, would you have heard about it?
depends. Was Jade Helm there? No.
But that's what I'm asking. Like if they pulled military operations in those yeah, Cito.
It was supposed to also be originally in Colorado too.
And
I
Colorado's
wonder-
scary.
I want to
Well,
see
Denver.
if there was
Rocky
actually
Mountains.
any, because the reasoning on the documents were that they no longer saw Colorado fit. So I want to see if there was actually
Why? What the
they didn't
reason
see
for?
like they didn't think it was like correlation, like civilian or what something about the training that they were doing. It didn't seem to fit as well as the other states. So I want to see now if Colorado has anything to say about the whole
Well,
thing.
one of the things that I would actually sit there and it could go into the anti-gun thing or taking guns away from people, if you want to go into the conspiracy theory aspect of it, are the states that Jade Helm exercised in, are they open carry states?
Well, we know Texas is.
Texas is Georgia an open carry state?
Yes.
Georgia's an open carry state. Is Arizona an open carry state?
I don't know.
Think Colorado might not be an open carry state. Colorado, I think, is a blue state also, isn't it?
I don't know.
I don't know offhand right now.
That's what I'm saying. Like if they're practicing these,
Only issue is California though.
California,
It isn't.
Oh, California's blue.
But Arizona is open carry.
Arizona is open carry. Most of these states that they practice Jade Helm in are open carry states. If you look,
But
at
I
it.
don't think it would be one of those things. Like, I think that's a little weird to say. Like, oh yeah, let's do Operation Jade and like put the military in to take away the guns. Like, I feel like that's a little too extreme.
Well, take a look at what's happening at that point. Also, it was 2015 that's happening, right?
Yeah.
You're talking about in the middle of Obama's second term, right, or towards the end of Obama's second term.
Yeah.
You're talking about how many, and the gun issue was a major prominent issue in that time frame.
It was.
You're talking about school shootings happening. You're talking about,
Yeah, a lot of things
just
happen.
a lot of shootings happening and people talking about AR-15s. The gun debate was very heated at that point while this operation was taking place.
I agree with Cito in a way, and I disagree.
Again, I'm just saying that could add to the conspiracy theory
absolutely.
aspect
You
of
can
it.
go any way you want with a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
However, if this was an exercise to take your guns, a lot of light was put on it, and it ain't gonna happen. They failed.
Well,
at
that's
that.
why they shut it down.
Now, were they going to take their guns at the end of the say in worst case scenario, somebody saw a tank coming down the street, one of the good old boys down in Texas decided to pop a few soldiers. Well, you're going to fire back on this guy. And he had no idea. He's just defending his home. He's just defending his area.
That's the thing. I don't think.
What if
Would
that's
that
the
become-
experiment? What if that's
what they wanted?
That's
if
what they
did
want to
that-
see from an open carry state. What would be the results of marching into
I'll
the
go
fucking
farther than
town?
that. What if it's exactly what they wanted? What if they wanted somebody to shoot at them to realize? And I'll tell you why. Exercises turn into disasters. Okay. On 9/11, we had two exercises, military exercises, about planes flying into the World Trade Center. The planes were diverted. They said it's nothing. They were diverted out to sea. That's why there was such a delayed response. On 7/17, and with the London bombings, okay, there was pipe bombs put in the London subway. At that very time, that very day, there was experiments running on, and operations going on about bombings in the London subway. Okay, do you see the distraction? They can say, "Oh, you know what? We know they were there, but somehow it happened, and we had to act upon it because we were there already." What if that's what this was going to be?
Yeah.
Just think about it, because
And Abbott just blew the case with it.
because if that's the case, and somebody came out and shot somebody up, which would have been within his right to defend his home,
Open carry.
even if it's on a military.
But I have a
because
question.
at that point they're illegally doing that. Your own soldiers are taking over the streets, bringing tanks down. That's scary to a lot of people. I know I'd shit myself. I would, but you know what? Maybe it was just averted or diverted at the last minute. Well, it's something we haven't touched on, and I think that you got to throw that in there with just about everything else. That it was caught in time. Maybe the conspiracy theorists, that they like to call them, actually opened it up and said, no, this isn't going to happen. And then there was too much light put on them, and they had to shut it down. You got to go that way as well.
All right,
Whether it's
Cito?
true or not, I don't know.
He's onto something. Maybe it just not be that like, oh yeah, they got caught on too early. But I'm thinking, going based off of what he's saying, like experiments. Maybe the idea is that the thought process might have been that maybe too much people would come out and defend their homes. And then it'll look really bad then that, say, I don't know, 1,000 people, but yet 700 decide to defend themselves. And then the military will shoot a response because they're not going to just sit there and get shot at.
Well, let me add to the, again, we're adding to layers to a conspiracy theory now. We're sitting here.
It was back in 2015, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You also have to add into the fact that social media wasn't a big thing back then.
Yeah, TikTok wasn't a big thing.
So what if something did happen and it backfired horribly, and no one knew
Well,
about it
my
because
whole
they covered it up.
My whole thing, I'm sitting here thinking this way.
Is this real theory?
This would be our own theory here. I don't know if anybody's really thinking about it. I'm adding to that, but I'm doing the reverse. If you want to take open carry law away from a state, have people with open carry, like with weapons, saying they're defending themselves against military, kill military people on U.S. soil, and then the rest of make it look like to the rest of the country, they shot soldiers.
I don't think that'll work though. There's one thing about that. You could say that
in America. Do you know how gullible people are, especially with the
Hold on
media?
a second. This is great that we're playing speculation here, but that would have been reported on. If there was anyone rolling through, if the military was rolling through the streets and there was guys taking pop shots to defend their home,
completely fine.
that would have been reported on. That the military took this guy out because they walked.
No. I'm saying the civilian killing the soldier.
Yeah, I understand that.
I don't
it
think
would have been
it'll work.
reported either way.
There's only one reason why I say I don't think it'll work. It's because media at the time was already covering it a lot. Texas alone was already wary about it.
That's because Texas is a red state. I'm talking about the national media, the people at the CNN who are always pro anti-gun.
Sure, you could say that.
Pro anti-gun?
That's what I'm saying. Pro anti-gun.
No, they're just anti-gun.
They're just
We develop new statements here on Is This Real?
Yes, we do.
didn't-
Fuck
you
you.
didn't need a pro.
They're very pro anti-gun. Fuck
You're
you.
an idiot.
But like I'm saying,
Yeah. Well,
There's a
Pisses me
race-
off that you're making that work.
there's already states that are already like Texas. Why do they take out Colorado? Was that going to be another threat, just like how Texas might be with concerns?
well, no, because again, it's Colorado an open carry state.
It is.
It is.
I want to interject something here. The open carry theory to me has nothing to do with this, and I'll tell you why. Because if people are coming down the street in tanks and stuff, I don't care whether you're in Jersey or you're in thing. Like, my father owned guns for years. I know that it's not an open carry state, but my father had the right permits to have the guns. It was law-abiding citizen. These people in Texas are going to have guns, whether it's open carry, no carry. The open carry, an open carry thing only says you can carry it on your hip if you have the right thing. We're not talking about 38s here. We're talking about people in their houses are going to go, Ma, get the fucking gun. And what they're going to do is they're going to go get the fucking rifle and they're going to shoot. They're not going to shoot, because they have it on the thing. It might help a little bit because you might have more people have guns.
But I agree, but also I disagree with this one thing. If this was conducted with civilians on the streets, that's when open carry takes place.
Yeah.
How would civilians in their car at a store or just going upon their day, going on their going to their morning routine, and they're licensed to open carry, how would they react? This is targeted towards them.
I don't even think
it's a combination.
Yeah, I don't even think it's the point where it's like if they have the larger weapons anyway. I think it's just
hit something.
I think it's just to the point of taking the weapons away from the people, regardless of if it's open carry or not.
Right. That's exactly what Cito was just saying.
I know, but that's like when I say. But again, when you sit there, and the most places that you're gonna have most control over or least control over are the places with open carry weapons.
Well, most people now, if you gotta
like Chicago. Let's put it like Chicago is a disaster land.
Okay.
And it's a Democratic run state that is no guns whatsoever. They outlawed guns.
Well, Cito just said hit me.
They
with like
have
a ton of bricks.
I know. Hold on. They have illegal weapons that are flooded the streets. Now,
illegal weapons is a show all to itself.
Gentlemen, we are discussing something that we'll be discussing next week on our debate.
Yeah, we have a debate episode next week that's going to be about guns, and I don't want to continue this thing, but say your last thing and we're going to end this episode.
Well, I do believe what Cito just said that, and he makes a lot of sense because what I said, whether it's a gun, a pro carry or whatever, okay, you got people that are going to come out of their houses with rifles, but you're also going to have people parked at the 7-Eleven. People at 7-Eleven, if it's a non-carry, if it's an open carry state, they're also going to have weapons. They can also fire upon these people. So maybe I was wrong. Maybe Cito,
See, one thing I do think about too is like with this type of thing, did they alert the local sheriffs or the police for that? They did?
They did.
Okay, because like if the sheriffs are on there and they see military coming out, what the fuck is going on? Like, Like then you have cops shooting military people. Like that's not a good thing.
Yeah, well, if you're going to do something like this, you need to prevent a disaster.
Yeah.
These military men want to go home to their families too. So if they're going to go marching down the street and they get two in the head, you know what?
I mean, you also
And
let's
tell
just put it like
anybody?
this: you also have some military men that'll be like, yeah, that's if any, like they're gonna tell the people on the streets. I don't know if they did. I would if me being the military
got
person
orders,
I am.
Joe.
I understand they have orders, but at the same time, at the same time, you're gonna sit there and if you know you're in the military, you're not supposed to be by law sitting there attacking civilians.
Yeah, but there's also another issue of like, you know, like what, like depending how the military word things, one slight thing, like you say something and you're not supposed to.
No, I get that.
Like there's a danger to that too.
Yeah, you know, you could be discharged and shit like that, killed even. But we do have our next week's episode, as Anthony said, we are going to have a debate about guns. And I don't know how that debate's going to go. I don't know if we're going to sit here and have a lot of pro.
Well, I can
guns,
tell you,
like,
Joshua and I are probably on the same side here. Anthony,
he
I'm
wants
sorry.
to arm people with nukes. No, I don't think you're going to be on the same side.
Anthony, I think this is where we're gonna split, but that's okay.
I don't want to arm people with nukes. I just want to arm them with M32 rotary grenade launchers because fuck
Okay,
you
good night, everybody.
and everyone hear you.
Josh.
I say we arm all the zoos with weapons also.
Yes, you can bear arms and arm bears, whatever you want to do.
Yes.
I want to own a Barrett at some point.
Fucking
in my
Planet
life.
of the Apes come in real life. I want to see monkeys on the street with guns. What? Why are you staring at me like that? Anywho.
Get your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape.
Anywho. Anthony, please read off our social media to end this episode.
Head on over to tiktok.com/isthisrealpc. That's where you'll find most of our videos. If you want to follow our personal accounts, I am Pope Tony the First on TikTok. That is JC3_ITR. You have Cito. Roblox and Dad.
You have Cito.
Literally. Roblox and Dad don't have TikToks. We're also on Facebook and we're on X and we are on YouTube.
Gotta love X.
On Facebook and X.
We exercise all the time.
Yeah, okay.
Just find us under Is This Real PC. If you go to YouTube, look up Green Hour Media. There's two of them on there. We're the ones with have our faces on it.
Well, no, it's our logo.
And our
If you
logo,
know our
yep.
logo.
So check us out on YouTube. We're trying to build those numbers up the fastest right now, but YouTube, TikTok is where it's at. Check us out. And of course, head to our website, greenarrowmedia.org, where you can find all the links to all of our social medias on our website, as well as the schedule of what's coming up and something that you can enjoy.
Yeah.
And you can stream our show right from the website as well.
Can you?
Yes.
Or audio, yes.
Our
not
audio,
video.
yes. We don't do live shit.
And go over to our website, our spread shop, Green Hour Media, the spread shop page. The link is on the thing. I can't find it right now. Our internet's actually down. That's not going to affect any of our recording. Let's put it like that.
Thank
All right.
Christ.
But yes, so go over to our Halloween shirts just fucking launched. Go buy it before Halloween comes around.
Yeah,
All right, you have
spooky
2
shit.
months. You could get all of your new shit for season 11 coming out and all of our Halloween stuff with the Halloween logos and shit like that. It's going to be amazing.
And we have a special announcement. September 10th, we will be
Sunday, September 10th.
Sunday, September 10th, we will be at the street fair in Red Bank, New Jersey. So if you're in the area, I understand it's also the opening day for football. That is a conflict of interest. But we're Jets fans and we don't get to see our team play till Monday night.
Hey,
So-
before you continue on, this is my birthday.
Oh, it is your
That is
birthday.
his birthday,
It is
too.
Cito's birthday.
Birthday, Cito.
Oh yeah, there's football that day. Conflict of interest.
You motherfucker, you had your birthday to worry about.
Big
You'll have another
21.
birthday next year. What are you worried about? Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
yeah.
Hopefully.
Yes, hopefully.
I
But
mean, you
yes,
always want to have hope. With all
September-
the natural disasters happening in the world today.
September 10th, we will be at the Red Bank Street Festival. Come on down,
in
take
Red Bank, New
pictures.
Jers's.
On Broad Street, if you want to know where we're going to be.
Yep,
at.
take-
We don't
come
know
on down
exactly
to-
yet, but we know we're going to be there.
Come on down, talk to us, take pictures, buy some merch, and we're going to give away some prizes. We're going to have a good day of it. So
I'm going to the nudie beach.
that's fine.
Okay. But again, everyone say goodnight for this episode.
Good night, everyone.
everybody.
Adios, motherfuckers.
Good night,
Stay safe,
everybody.
folks.
We'll catch you guys next week for our gun debate. Again, thank you guys for listening. Remember, everybody, question everything. Good night.
Konnichiwa, bitches. It's Ryu West speaking. If you want to find out more about the Is This Real podcast, follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/isthisrealpc, or on Twitter at isthisrealpc, or on Instagram at isthisrealpodcast, all one word.